Hi everyone and welcome back to my allotment. I'm back today with another plot tour. Now, some of you may be thinking it's only been 2 weeks since I did the last one, so what could I possibly have to show you that's different today? But I'm not here to show you this plot today. I'm here to show you this one. So I'm currently sitting on the floor, so I can't officially take over this plot until the 1st of October because there is actually someone on it. Although they're not particularly working it, they have paid their rent up until the end of the year, so it's still theirs at the moment. Our contracts run from 1st of October to the 30th of September, so from the 1st of October her tenancy will end and mine will start. So I've had my original plot since Feb 2020, and say I'll take this one over on the 1st of October 22. They are both about 240 square metres. There is an absolutely tiny amount in it, probably only half a metre between the two, I would say. One of the hot topics for allotments is cost, and I'll be completely transparent and let you know how much I pay for mine here. So where I am here, we pay by the square metre, so we actually pay 30p a square metre. So if you've got a smaller plot you pay less, and if you've got a bigger plot you pay a little bit more. And this is how I know that there's very little between my plots. Plot 1 I pay £72.54p for the year, and plot 2 is £72 exactly. So that just gives you sort of an idea of what I pay here in Milton Keynes. That includes water. We have mains water. We're not allowed to connect hoses, but we do have mains waters into the trough, and it also covers maintenance of the communal areas. So we've got a couple of car parks here. We also have a community orchard, and it also covers our toilet. Not that many of us are brave enough to go in it, but we do have a toilet on site here. So yeah, that's kind of what's included in the cost. Some people may think that's a lot, some people may think that's not a lot. It depends where you are. But I think happy is the wrong word, but I'm willing to pay that because this is my primary hobby, and it's worth every penny to me. So yeah, I suppose I better sort of start with the sort of showing you around. So I'm sort of going to generally talk about some of my plans for the plot. Some of them are a little bit more sort of firmed up, and a lot of them are sort of vague sort of ideas. So yeah, I suppose I better get going. I'm now standing at the back of the plot. So plot 1 is sort of behind you, in front of me, and this is the other end of the plot here. So right behind me, helpfully, is actually one of the car parks. Now that's good for me because it does make things a little bit easier for getting stuff like compost and manure and bits and pieces delivered, so I'm not going to moan about that. Where I'm sort of standing now, I appreciate it's difficult for you to get a perspective. I've got sort of this hedge behind me with the fence, so I'm right up against the fence here. Where I'm standing now, I'm actually planning on having a polytunnel. I want it in this back corner to try and protect it as much as I can from the wind. So we do have a all around maximum sizes. The maximum I can have in on this site is a sort of 3x4 metre polytunnel. Haven't actually found a particular one yet, but yeah, that's going to go sort of in the back. Actually does come a little bit further back than this black matting. Yeah, but back, sort of central, a little bit further over, is going to be the polytunnel. Now, tomatoes and chilies and those sorts of things are going to stay in the original polytunnel. In this one, I'm planning on growing more things like sort of Cape gooseberries, tomatillos, maybe some cucamelon, yeah, sort of more of those sorts of things. And I'm also planning in the middle, you might not be able to see this, but in my head I can really visualise this polytunnel. In the middle, I'm going to have some fruit trees. So, but fruit trees like cherry, apricot, peach, and maybe some citrus and a fig. So I'll build those up over time. So yeah, that's all going to be in my polytunnel, which is going to be round about where I'm standing now. Now over towards this side of the allotment, I'm actually going to have a small sort of maybe 3x3 metre fruit cage, so I can grow my sort of soft fruits, so gooseberries, blackcurrants and those sorts of things, undercover, away from the birds, so I might actually get to harvest something. The car park's behind me, my plot's in front of me, it's going to be over on the right hand side. And the reason for that is, back over this side, I'm actually quite sheltered by a tree. What I'd like to have sort of over in this back corner is sort of almost like a little seating area. Over on plot 1, I get zero shade, and all I've got is a little sort of parasol thing that's full of holes. So yeah, I'd like to have a little seating area over here, just so I've got somewhere to sit down. I'd like a little table and chairs so I can do my potting up outside without sort of killing my back. Now right at the very front of the plot, so I'm literally over the ridings from allotment 1 at the moment, but right at the very front I'm actually going to have my space to grow to all my potatoes. So I do my potatoes in pots. You've probably seen that, I've probably shown some videos on that. I'm going to actually bring them over to this plot so that they can have a little bit more room and they're not all along my paths like they were on plot 1 this summer. Strategically being placed, one of the downsides of doing your potatoes in pots is that they take a little bit more watering. So one of the reasons that I'm going to put them right at the front of the plot even, is that the water trough is right here. So yeah, that's going to be really convenient for watering those potatoes. I won't have too far to walk with those buckets of water. Another thing that I really want to have over on plot 2 is another arch. So I'm going to have a go at building my own, maybe using some metal stakes and some of that blue MDPE pipe. I've got a roll of it up on plot 1, so I'm thinking I might use that. I want to have another arch because I want to grow the Trombogino squash, and I've heard that if you grow them vertically and they're hanging down, they tend to grow straighter than if you grow them on the ground where they have a tendency to curl. So yeah, I'm going to have a bit of an arch going on for those. All in the planning phase at the moment. In my head, as I say, in my head this plot looks great. The reality is it's not quite there yet. Another plan that I've got is that I want to bring more cold frames onto this plot. So I want to have some cold frames for some things that would benefit from growing under cover, so perhaps melons and those sorts of things. I've never tried growing melons before. I know people do grow them. I know people have had a lot of success growing them this year given the temperatures that we've had. But I'm just thinking I'm going to try those in a cold frame to offer them a little bit more protection. So yeah, they will be at the front of the plot as well, because again, I believe they're quite thirsty plants, so having them near the water will be really handy. So sort of thinking more generally, I've got a plan for a few other fruit trees. So I'd like an apple, a pear and a plum at the very least. I'd also like to have a big dahlia bed somewhere. I talked about in my autumn sowing video that I want to have more flowers. And one of the things I want to have is, yeah, a big dahlia bed and make more cut flowers and generally make this a slightly prettier plot. Sort of more practically, I'd like an IBC tank. I actually saw a YouTube video, I believe it's Hugh Richards, on his new plot site that he's been working on. And he's got an IBC tank with a structure built over the top to act as a roof to collect the rainwater. Because one of the things I'm not planning on having in here is a shed. I've already got a shed up on the original plot, and it's just going to be another space for me to store rubbish that I really don't need to store. So yeah, no plans for a shed on here, but do have plans for a polytunnel fruit cage and some cold frames. I would also like another herb garden on here, so bigger than the little raised pallet collar bed I've got over there. So I'd like a herb garden, I'd like a wildlife area. I'm thinking wildlife area again, it goes in this back corner, sort of near these sort of trees, to try and encourage the birds in there. So yes, maybe a little pond. Technically we're not allowed them, but if I sneak it in and somewhere they're not going to look, then I will possibly get away with it. I would also like to get some way of dealing with my food scraps, so some sort of composting system for food waste. I don't tend to put a lot of food waste in my general compost bins because it does attract sort of vermin and rodents and bits. So at the moment I'm using the home green waste system, but I'd like to be able to compost it here so I can put it back into the allotment. So yeah, this is what I'm currently dealing with, and I sort of swing wildly between, oh, it's not too bad, to what have I done. So at the front I have these teasels, which look quite pretty at the moment, but whether they're staying or going I haven't yet decided. I think some might stay, but I don't think I'm going to keep them all. There's quite a lot there. Buddleia, sorry all those Buddleia lovers out there, and I know the butterflies like it, but I hate it. I really don't like it, so it's going, and I say this will be potato corner. I do have some really, really good things on this plot. I've got an absolute mass of strawberries, which I will keep a lot of, although they won't be staying here. I've got plans for a strawberry bed sort of down this end. I've also got, I don't know what I've got some fruit bushes. Now I think some of these might be black currants. Not sure what that one is. We'll work that out, I suppose. Again, I'll keep them, but I think they'll be moving. The lady that had this plot before me seemed to like lines, and I'm much more of a sort of block planter. I like things in beds rather than in lines. I've got a massive rosemary bush. Probably move it. I've also got some autumn fruiting golden raspberries. In fact, I always said I wouldn't be one of these people that eats on camera, so just let me pause that. Right, that's that eaten. So, and I've got some sage bushes in here as well. So again, probably a lot that will stay but will be moved. And then if I come down the middle here, again I have another row which I believe to be autumn fruiting raspberries. So there's quite a few along there. Again, I'll keep a lot of them, but we'll move them. Now where is it? This is the remains of it. This brambly looking mess we have here is actually a Sylvan blackberry bush. Now it may look a bit of a mess at the moment, but and it's a little bit neglected, but it actually does put out these amazingly big blackberries. So I will keep that, but what I will do is I will build sort of like a, I'll put a few fence posts in, some wire in between, and I will train it up there so it'll be much more disciplined and in control, or under control even. So that will stay, but yeah, we're gonna tame it a little bit. So I'm standing now sort of at the very back of the plot, and just for sort of perspective, those sort of runner beans, that wall of runner beans that you can see, that's my current plot. So I am literally just over the ridings from where I am now. But yeah, so the back half is pretty much all covered. It does come a little bit further back than sort of where she's got the weed-proof membrane down to. I'm not a fan, so I will lift most of that sort of as I go along. Yeah, so this will be sort of where I'm standing now. This will be the view out the front of the polytunnel. But yeah, it's not too bad. If I told you I was getting this, you'd all be fine. It's this bit that's a bit of a gonna be a bit of a mission. So yes, starting to rain now. So the idea is that plot 1 and 2 will have quite a different feel. So plot 1, original plot, will remain a sort of mainly annual sort of cropping and yeah, those sorts of things over there, tomatoes and bits and pieces, where plot 2 is going to be much more focused around sort of fruits and perennial veg. I have a little bit of a commitment issue over there. I'm always terrified of running out of space, so I'm hoping by taking on plot 2, knowing it's sort of dedicated for sort of perennial veg and bits, so I'm thinking Jerusalem artichokes, globe artichokes, some more rhubarb. I'm finally going to get do an asparagus bed, and then I'm going to have a lot more fruit, so sort of some fruit trees, some strawberries, more blackberries, blueberries. So yeah, various different fruits going on over here, because what I find at the moment is with plot 1 I don't really grow enough to do anything with. So yeah, the plan is to grow a lot more fruits over here so I can actually do things like jam. So one of the things I definitely know I want to try and do on this plot is I want to try and have grass paths. So I know that they are more maintenance and there is some concern they might attract more slugs, but I like the idea of being able to come up here in my trainers, in my flip-flops, and not have to worry about the wood chip ending up in my shoes or thorns in the bottom of my feet. So yeah, I really just want to have some nice grass paths over here, so that's definitely on the plan. So back under the shade of my tree now. So they're sort of my general ideas. They're nothing is chiseled in stone yet. Things may move, things may change, some things I haven't even decided where they're going yet. But yeah, lots of work to be done. My plan is that I will revisit this plot monthly, so I'm going to alternate between plot 1 and 2, so there'll be a video sort of predominantly every fortnight, but 1 week you'll see, or 1 fortnight you'll see plot 1 and the changes that are happening on there, and then the following fortnight you'll see plot 2 and the progress that I'm making over here. If I try and do them both in one video, you're going to end up sitting watching sort of hour-long videos. There may be, if I'm working on any particular projects or something specifics happening, I may do a few additional videos, but yeah, mainly sort of alternating between the two plots, plot 1, plot 2, and yeah, I'll keep you updated. Now I think this is the stage of the video, I've been avoiding doing this so far, but if you want to follow along and see how I'm getting on with plot 2, then please subscribe to my channel. New channel, I'm just sort of developing it now, so yeah, please hit that subscribe button. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you all again soon.